Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about some Walking Dead news because recently we got some information about Lauren Cohan's new show and it could definitely tie into season 10, and we're going to discuss that in this video today. So with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so Lauren Cohan's new show, Whiskey Cavalier, has been canceled after one season. And now a lot of people are talking about her return to The Walking Dead. Now this is kind of inevitable because they didn't kill her off on the main show, and they did say that they're writing season 10 in a way for Maggie to return. So they had high hopes for Maggie to return, whether or not the show was gonna, because that was before the show got canceled. So either they kind of already knew the show was gonna get canceled, or they were just gonna tie her in maybe later on in season 10. But now, since it's already canceled, the possibility of her showing up earlier is now open. So they already began filming season 10 this month. I believe they're on episode 2 right now. So technically they could bring Maggie back earlier, but I don't know if they are going to do that because they most likely already have the first half written, or at least, outlined, because they film continuously the first 8 episodes. And then I think they take a break and then they just, I think it's like a 1 month break or something, and then they do the second half. So I don't know if they're going to just throw in Maggie right now in the first half, unless they already had that plan. But this news is just coming out that her show got canceled. So either, like I said, they already knew it was going to get canceled and they have her written in, but now we know Maggie most likely will be returning in season 10. I do remember last year they began filming this show, Whiskey Cavalier. I think it was in July or something. It was definitely during the summer, and that's when they filmed The Walking Dead. That's why there was a big problem with her being in the second half of season 9. But now I want to talk about a little bit about, now we know her show is canceled. She most likely will be returning. I know everybody was really pretty open about Maggie returning. Even Lauren Cohan said that, she's not done with the show, and I'm gonna go ahead and read this quote from Lauren Cohan about her return to The Walking Dead. So this was a while back with Entertainment Weekly. She said this. I quickly want to read it. She said, "We'll see what happens," Cohan in April told Entertainment Weekly Morning Live of our anticipated season 10 return after stepping away 5 episodes into season 9. "There's definitely a lot of exciting ways for it to happen. In the universe I'm still very much a part of, and it's not over. So for me that's exciting, and I get so excited because we talk about different possibilities." So yeah, as you can see, she's pretty open to returning in season 10. It makes sense for an actor to step aside from a role and do something else. I don't think anybody becomes an actor to play one role for the rest of their lives, right? So it makes sense why she would want to try new things, but I do like how she's open, or how she's been open to returning in season 10. And like I said in the beginning of the video, Angela King also said they're pretty open and pretty positive that Maggie is going to be returning, so they already wrote her in for the season. But now I want to talk about a little bit how Maggie can return, because they did handle it very well with Georgie coming in, and then that was a way for Maggie to escape or leave, because they most likely knew for a while that this was going to happen, because it takes a couple years to develop a show. So it was pretty smart of them to add in Georgie, and I still think Georgie is connected to the Commonwealth, which we most likely will be getting in season 10. And the more I think about it, I do think that Georgie's group, because it's not confirmed that Georgie is part of the Commonwealth, but I feel like she is, because the more I think about it, like I was saying, I do think Rick's group, the group that took Rick away, and Georgie's group are totally different groups. I think that's already 2 different groups out there in The Walking Dead besides the Whisperers that we're currently dealing with. So are they going to add in the 3rd group, which is going to be the official Commonwealth, or is the Commonwealth already existing from these other groups that have been hinted at, like Georgie and Rick's group? I think it's going to be, I definitely think Georgie's group is connected to the Commonwealth. It makes sense. It also doesn't help that Georgie looks very similar to Pamela from the comics in the Commonwealth. I think they did that on purpose just to allude to the Commonwealth. I don't think she could be the TV show version of Pamela. But again, maybe not. Maybe that's just Georgie, a different character, and then Pamela we will meet in the Commonwealth in season 10 or 11 or whatever. But I do think these little nods and little, things, I'm sure this is the Commonwealth, and they're just kind of teasing it. And then Rick's group is in a totally different corner of the United States. So I don't think that's going to be the Commonwealth, because I'm sure the big group at Alexandria Hill, the big group on the main Walking Dead show, is going to be connected to the Commonwealth, and they're going to experience the Commonwealth. For Rick, I think it's only going to be maybe like Michonne, obviously, because Michonne is leaving, and then maybe some other characters are gonna see Rick too. Who knows? But I do think that Georgie is connected to the Commonwealth, and I do think that Maggie would be a good connecting bridge between her people and then the Commonwealth. Also, with Maggie returning, you most likely can expect an older version of Glenn, because there has been a couple years that passed, and Glenn's gonna be like 7-8 years old by now. Like, that's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be like legit junior Glenn, so I can't wait to see that. Hopefully do some cool things with him. And like the Walking Dead second generation is really growing up because of how much time they skip, so that's really cool to look back on. But let's talk about when Maggie is gonna return and the exact circumstances and what exactly is gonna happen, because like I said, right now they're filming episode 2. Lauren Cohan is done with Whiskey Cavalier, so she could return, essentially anytime after episode 2, really. But is that gonna happen? Like I said, I don't know, because they most likely are gonna bring her in when they originally were. There really is no reason to change everything unless they really want to. But what I think will be interesting is because we still have a Whisper War coming up. And we know Michonne is also gonna leave. So there's a lot of stuff happening in season 10 still. So we don't know exactly, throwing in Maggie on top of all that would be maybe a little too much. Maggie wasn't there for the start of the Whispers, so I don't know if she's going to be there for the Whisper War. The Commonwealth could help. Maybe they could send people to fight, because remember, the Commonwealth in the comics, I think they have like 75,000 people or something. So, I don't know if they're going to do the same thing on the show, because it's a shit ton of extras. Obviously they're not going to have every single person, but it's going to be a big group, like probably the biggest group we've ever met. So they could send people to help with the Whisper War, who knows? Because Maggie does know about the Whispers, because they keep sending messages back and forth, because I always hear them like every few episodes say that the twins dropped off another letter. So it looks like the twins, wherever they are, they're coming and dropping off letters, and then they obviously could easily send a letter back. And that's also another thing why I think this group is the Commonwealth and totally different from Rick's group, is because it looks like the twins keep coming every couple months or every couple weeks to give them letters. So they wouldn't be doing that if they're from a totally different corner of the country like Rick is. So I do think, since they are relatively close, maybe not too close, maybe just like a few states away, who knows, but I do think this is going to be the Commonwealth. But if I had to bet on it, I wouldn't really expect Maggie to come back. But what I do think is definitely possible is because I don't think the Whisper War is going to last the entire season, like All Out War did. There's no way they're going to make an entire other season of war. I feel like that'll be a little too much, So I do think it's going to be like maybe half a season, especially since they teased that radio at the end of season 9. So that obviously is not connected to the Whispers, so they're not going to tease that now, and then we're not going to see that until the season 10 finale or season 11. It's obviously going to be the first half. So I do think the Whisper War is not going to be that long. And if the Whisper War, let's say, does end up being until the mid-season finale or something, Maggie could return then, and she would help fight off the last of the war. I think that would be fucking awesome. Like Maggie showing up, having a really cool entrance. That'd be cool for fans and the characters. And then that would be the end of the Whisper War, and then she would hang out with her friends and family. And then the second half of season 10 would be her back, help finish it with the Whisper War, and then telling them about the Commonwealth. The second half of season 10 then being the introduction of the Commonwealth for the rest of the group. I would love to see something like that, just because I think it would just be, I think it'll fit the return really well. Instead of just Maggie randomly coming back, I feel like she comes back and helps and fights at least the end of the Whisper War. That would make sense, because maybe she's not going to be there for the entire Whisper War. She's going to be there for the final battle or something. I would love that. And like I said, the Commonwealth have a lot of people. Georgie could come back also, and then the two of them would tell them about the Commonwealth, and that would obviously further them into the next storyline. I think that would be awesome. Something similar to like the season 7 finale, when Rick and Carl were there, and then Shiva came, and then the Hilltop came, and everybody came together and fought. That was like the start of All Out War. But this would be like the end of the Whisper War. I think that'll be awesome. But you guys let me know, what do you think? Like, how do you think, and how do you want Maggie to return? In my opinion, I think that's the best return, and that's something I kind of prefer. Like the mid-season finale, that would be the perfect way for her to return. And then the second half would be the introduction of the Commonwealth. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think is going to happen with Maggie in season 10? But I am going to wrap it up there for this video. I just quickly want to talk about Maggie, because it does look like her return will be happening, and I wanted to start a discussion. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. If for more Walking Dead content just like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.